Hello guys and welcome back to Big Brother, and today we're talking about episodes 19 and 20 of the latest season. That's right, we're into week 4 and that means that we are heading into the spooky Halloween week. Don't worry, nothing crazy is going to be happening in these episodes, but by the time you see me on Thursday, some spooky crazy stuff will be happening and hopefully we'll be finding out who the next 4 people up for eviction will be. And hopefully this week it will be a double, although I just hope that Ali is not up for eviction because those blasted Facebook mums, they're going to get rid of her and I can't hack that. I can't hack it. But anyway, we're going to be getting into the episode right about now and we have got some explosive content to talk about, some hilarious content to talk about, and most importantly, yeah, boring content as well. So without much further ado, let's get into the episode. So, the first thing that we are going to be talking about is the whole Martha and Hannah situation. And before we get into it, I just want to make my stance on this very, very clear from the get-go. I think Martha and Hannah are both in the wrong somewhere along the way. I think Martha started the whole shit off and just made it a very uncomfortable, toxic environment. And then Hannah continued that toxic environment and just turned it into a massive screaming match, and it just was a bit of a, it was just uncomfortable to watch, and I was sitting there like, what is going on? It all stemmed from the fact that Lily was upset over hearing Get Lily Out. I don't remember ever hearing Get Lily Out, so I don't know where that came from. But when Martha went to go talk to Hannah and confirm what had been said, and then obviously Lily was asking people if they'd heard anything, Martha called Hannah out and was like, well, Hannah heard it. Hannah, what did you hear? You ignoring me? What did you hear? And I just thought that was a little bit catty. It wasn't necessary. And I agreed with Emma what she said later on when she was like, you didn't need to tell her anything. Like, you didn't need to do that. It wasn't very nice. It wasn't kind. And so I think that there is where Martha was to blame. She was to blame for starting this whole thing. I do not appreciate the way Hannah talks to people. I think it's really jarring and I find it very uncomfortable when she's like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to hear your voice. I don't want to hear you talk to me. Like, you shouldn't be talking to me. And I'm just like, that kind of energy is just nasty. It's toxic. It isn't very constructive. It doesn't really, it's just not nice, is it? It's not very nice. And obviously I know that not everyone in the house is going to be nice all the time. They're not going to have really nasty, like, moments all the time, but they're going to bicker. And I just think when they're going to backwards and forwards, like, I didn't appreciate when she sat up in the mezzanine and she was chanting her plan did not succeed. Like, Ali was actively trying to get Marcello and Khaled out of the house. I don't think she actually cared if either one of them went. I don't think she did. I think the only thing is that she wanted to save Lily and she wanted to just put up the 2 people that had, like, pissed her off that week. And even then, is that so much of a problem considering you were wanting to do the exact same thing to her? No. So I feel like the chanting was not necessary at all. But anyway, the whole thing sparked off again when Martha said something along the lines like, get your wingman, when Hannah was calling to Shegan to be like, yo, back me up here. And then it just kept on going, and it's like Hannah won't let anybody else speak until she's got her point across. But a point takes like 10 million thousand words, so you never actually get a moment to butt in, because by the time she's finished, she's ready to walk off. And it's like, well, hang on a minute, I haven't had any chance to say anything yet. So I think they were both in the wrong here. It was a toxic argument. It was just a bit nasty, but did make for very good television, so I can't lie. I just think both of them, they're just not my fave people in the house. Like, I even think that, I know I've been harsh on Khaled, but like, I actually kind of do like Khaled, even though like there's still aspects of me that picks up on things and goes, that's a little bit contradictory to what you've said before or what you've done before. But like, I just find him vibey. I think he's interesting, and I just don't vibe with Hannah. I don't think we'd get on the outside world. I think we would argue, and she wouldn't want to argue with me. God, no. Oh, she'd be keeping them shoes on. But yeah, no, I just felt like it was a bit toxic, and it is what it is at the end of the day, isn't it? You're going to have arguments, and it's going to be a bit toxic. So, the second half of the episode was a little bit crazy, because obviously the whole thing was designed to keep Shegan oblivious from what was going on in the house. He was brought to the diary room and the rest of the house went in to find loads of balloons, and they were told you have to pop them before Shegan leaves the diary room or before Shegan notices that anything is up. They did that flawlessly, and I was actually kind of impressed that they were doing this kind of challenge. It's so much fun. It's so much more entertaining than watching them like stand in the garden and rank each other or whatever. It's just like that stuff's fine, but like it's all very forced. Whereas this was like some fun entertainment. Then we had the next one was, and this caused a lot of stir online, a big stir online. But like I personally found it hilarious that David Potts was in a pot in the garden and had to be transported through the house. Thank God he wasn't allowed to talk, purely because I do agree with the fact that you shouldn't have outsiders in the house. But I felt that the fact that he wasn't allowed to talk and he was just there to sort of interact and like look a little bit like, ooh, what's going on, was really funny. And the way he raided the fridge of the Tangfastics and the milk, I was absolutely howling. He's a very, very funny person, and I'm glad that they invited him back. I know some people don't like him, but he was definitely my favourite on the last series, as far as I remember. I don't really remember much about the Celebrity Big Brother series, apart from Louis and Sharon just doing an absolute madness. Was it Shannon? Shannon Osborne? Sharon Osborne? No, it's Sharon. It is. I always get Sharon and Shannon mixed up because they're very similar sounding names. I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, it was really funny to see David Potts in the garden. Then we had Marcello having to keep a giant chicken hidden, which was so funny. I can't believe that Big Brother did that after the whole chicken incident. I still can't believe he didn't get punished for that. That's still a piss take. But either way, I just thought it was a really, really entertaining challenge. And then the last thing that they had to do was have a secret bathroom rave. And he almost twigged. Fortunately, Hannah dragged him out to the garden and was like, no, 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 you're not hearing anything. But they had a secret bathroom rave. And honestly, it was a highlight of the episode. It was brilliant. It was so funny to hear Big Brother go on, baked potato. It's just, I feel like the Big Brother house, this series has had a really, really good mix of comedy and arguments that like last season didn't really have. Like last season had a lot of passive aggressiveness, but this series has just been like balls to the wall. It's been entertaining, it's been fun, there's been arguments, there's been upsets, but there's also been lots and lots of comedy, and this was the perfect antidote to the whole drama that happened at the start of the episode. I have to say, when he found out, his face was priceless, and they got like little sweet treats at the end as well. Oh, it was just such a great episode. I really enjoyed it. So we are moving on to the pick up the phone challenge, and I gotta say again, this was a really, really nice way to sort of keep the task going throughout the day, rather than, oh, we're doing another stupid garden task, or we're in the like game room doing musical chairs or whatever, I don't know. But this was really, really fun. Every so often the phone would ring and there would be a different thing for someone to do whilst on the phone. The first thing was Sarah had to make over Marcello in her style. I thought that was really funny. It was so great seeing him dressed up and made to look like a mug. We're going to talk a little bit about Manky Marcello a little bit later, because I've got a whole section of quotes and stuff that I found from him, and it's just making me uncomfortable. But it was nice to see him made to be look in like a little bit of a fool. Next up, we had Martha on the phone, and she had to confirm certain things on the food order. She had to confirm the Tangfastics, the tea, and the coffee, and then she was told to bring them to the diary room. And Dean was not happy. He was pissed off. And understandably so. I'd be pissed off. I'm literally sitting here with a cup of tea now. If I had to go without tea for that long, I'd be absolutely fuming. What do you mean I can't have a cup of tea? What do you mean I can't have a cheeky Tangfastics bag? I would be just as bad as Lily with those Tangfastics. Oh my god. In fact, no, it'd be Sour Patch Kids. I'd have to have the Sour Patch Kids. I don't want the Tangfastics. I want the Sour Patch Kids. Just give me them, inject them into my veins, please. But anyway, she took them to the diary room and she opened an envelope and it said, "You've been scammed." Oh my god, that was the funniest thing. I was cackling. And then she walks out and she goes, "Guys, we've been scammed. They took our tea and coffee." And everyone was just like, "Are you fucking joking me? Are you fucking joking?" That's so funny. And on that, I'ma sip my tea. Next up, we had Baked Potato answering an automated prize line. And if you've ever answered the phone to an automated service that has asked you to put input in and it's always given you the wrong day or something, or it just doesn't understand you. And that's the funniest part. It always reminds me of that Miranda like sketch that she did in her show where she was like, I would like it to be delivered on Tuesday. Did you say Friday? No. Tuesday is the funniest thing ever when that goes wrong. And watching Baked Potato do that with her name was so funny. Watching her just have an absolute mental breakdown trying to get this. And then at the end, Big Brother just goes, oh, well, we couldn't do that, so you won't get a prize. And having wasted her time like that, that was comedy gold. That was quite literally up there with one of the funniest moments of this series. I found it hysterical. There's some people who think that she's fake, etc, etc. I don't feel like that. I think she's actually really entertaining. But my God, that was such a great moment in the episode. Next up, we had clues for booze, which was essentially Big Brother giving a player a clue to give another player, and then they'd come up to the phone and then they would get asked a question and then they'd have to answer it. Some of the interesting things that came out of it was that Nathan apparently called Shegan nicely boring, or boringly nice. I can't remember which way around it was. And then also Martha got exposed for saying that Rosie has mean girl energy. And she went up there and she was like, oh, I don't think I would have said that. Why would I have said that? And then she was like, oh, I would never have said that. I clearly was upset about something. I wouldn't normally say that. And then literally she sat down on the couch and went to Ali, but she does have mean girl energy, doesn't she? I'm just like, Martha, bestie, you're on camera. You're saying all of this on camera. Do you not think that they're going to pick up that audio from your mic pack? Like, come on. You're ridiculous, bestie. Like, actually grow up. But anyway, it is what it is. The clues for booze was funny. They managed to get some booze that night. That will come in interesting later, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So the last phone calls were phone calls from home, and you had a phone call that Sarah picked up for Dean, and that was kind of cute. It was kind of nice. It was sweet. And then you had a phone call from Ali's girlfriend, and oh God, Lily just mucked it up so horrendously. And there were so many people that were pissed off with her afterwards because she'd just been relaying it wrong. And I will say that there's a part of me that wants to defend Lily, but there's also a part of me that wants to be like, Lily, fucking dope. Because I wonder whether the audio that we were hearing was the clean audio that is being recorded through the phone by Big Brother or whatever, and that's being played over the episode, and the audio that Lily was hearing was not as clear, so that's why she might have misheard. I don't know. But either way, some of the funniest shit came out of her mouth. She said something along the lines of like, your girlfriend wants to say that you're Persian or something like that, and I was like, huh? I think she was trying to say you're my person, and it was just so funny. And then the next one was Vivienne loves you unconditionally, and she was like, oh, she loves Lily and Shegan unconditionally, and Ali's like, huh? And Shegan's like, huh? So that was just an odd moment, but either way, it was still funny to see some interactions with loved ones. I'm glad that they didn't do the whole soppiness that they did last series, even though that was incredibly cruel. Like, it was still a little bit like, oh, this is a bit too far. But just hearing the voice, I feel like that was fine. It's not the end of the world. But, like, I do hate the loved ones. I just don't feel like they're needed on this show. You're only out for, like, a month and a bit. Chill. You can go without. Like, genuinely, you can. So the last thing I want to talk about on this episode is Manky Marcello. And I've just got a collection of quotes and moments. He walked in on Lily and Hannah talking about vicious vaginas or something like that. I think Lily was saying that she always tells people that she's got a vicious vagina, so they don't want to sleep with her, I guess. And Hannah was like, yeah, that, etc, etc. They were just like kiki kaka and backwards and forwards. Fair enough. And then Marcello walks in and tells them to stop bonding over how much you hate men. That's not what was going on, but you do you, bestie. Next one was he was in a conversation, I think, with Lily and Sarah, and he said that he always cheats at the start of a relationship to have insurance over his partner in case they cheat. And then he's like, oh, but I already cheated. And I'm just like, huh? That's like the most toxic thing I've ever heard. And I actually couldn't believe that he said that on national television. I really couldn't. Because that's not okay. You can't do that. That's not, no. What? Anyway, that was just like, blew my mind. And then the last thing was he was just laying it on a little bit too thick. Lily had had a little bit too much to drink. She was slurring her speech. She was just lying on the bed. And he's like playing with her hair. He's a little bit close. And it's just feeling a little bit uncomfortable. And everyone's kind of watching them like, what the fuck's going on over there? And then Ali comes in and sort of breaks it up. And I'm grateful that she did. Because it did look like he was going to kiss her. And I was like, he's not had a drink. Or he's not anywhere near the level of like tipsy that she is. And it felt a little bit uncomfortable that he might be taking advantage of her. Ugh, it was just a bit gross. It was a bit ugh. And we've already seen him with the whole section of the show. If you haven't seen that, it's been all over Twitter. But I just think, like, come on, you're on TV, like, behave. Do you know what I mean? So last but not least, we've got some funny quotes and moments. I've only got two, and the first one was Nathan chucking a glass of cold water on Emma while she was sleeping, and then Emma chasing them out and spraying baked potato with her water bottle, and then grabbing a water bottle. BP headed out into the garden to absolutely drench Emma, and then Emma and some compadres dumped baked potato into the jacuzzi. Hysterical. This is what I mean by, like, I love these iconic moments. Emma is actually growing on me a lot, and I do actually find her quite entertaining. She can be a bit moody and a bit bitchy, but like, who isn't when you're like 50 years old? Do you know what I mean? You do get a little bit catty like that, and I do think that she's one of the most real people in the house, in my opinion. And then the next funny moment was Biscoff on a spoon. That was hilarious when Lily was like, I don't know where the Biscoff is, and then they found it, and then she was like, well, what are you going to do with it? And Lily was like, oh, Biscoff on a spoon. It's just iconic at the end of the day, innit? It's just funny. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'll be back on Thursday for another installment of Big Brother. But until then, make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you then. Keep on ranting. Bye now.